Hello guys, it's me Belta here, and before I even tell you my story, you need to go down there to that red button and subscribe. Okay, subscribe to know my life with Belta. I'm gonna share my life from where I came from to where I am right now, and I'm gonna share a lot of positive and negative things that I and other people around there go through. This is the time now we need to start hopping up, because I've been watching these stories in YouTube, the way married people, couples or girlfriend, boyfriend, they keep on cheating on one another. And this is the time I want to share my story and why such things happens. Now, I came from a very small village called Kakumeni in Machakos County. That's where this lady comes from. And my journey, how I landed to the city of Nairobi, this gonna make you know that never ever in your lifetime give up, no matter what. So after my O level, um, I went home. The way we carry our boxes after all level, you're finished school, and then now you think like, yeah, damn, I have done it. Not knowing that now is the time you are starting, is the beginning. You think that you have done, and you don't know is the beginning, because this time round, nobody to give you pocket money, nobody to buy food for you, nobody to do 1 2 3 things for you. You have to start now doing things on your own. You need to start to be responsible, right? So now after school, I went to the village, and my dad used to have a business in the town, in that particular town I used to live in. And then my dad told me, you know what? I don't want to be staying home. Before you join the college, just come to my shop and start working for me. You're gonna be the stock taker, and then I'll be giving you, 3,000 a month. Then I'm like, oh, that's a good deal, daddy. And I went. Now I started working there. In that process of my job, you know, that's a beautiful young girl from high school, feeling myself like, ooh, I have done it. I met this guy. This guy was a good friend to my daddy, a good friend to my dad. He used to work for Castle Lager, if you remember that, before they sell the company to KBL, Castle Lager. He used to be a distributor. So he was the one doing distribution to Machakos County. So he happened to be our distributor. So I was the one taking the stock for my dad. Then from there we became friends. I started talking, exchange number. After work he would come and give me a push. To home, and we go talking and chatting, blah blah blah. Then those happens things happened. Now, to be honestly with you, me, after my own level, my mama, I'm not blaming my mom, but my mom never told me anything regarding with protection, anything doing with HIV, nothing. The only thing mom used to be scared of is getting pregnant. That was the mom fear. The rest, I never heard it from my mom. I learned that from myself, but I'm gonna share that, as my journey continues. So I met this guy, start buying for me soda, cake here, there, by there. Then boom, I'm in the mix, started dating. Then now, instead of going home straight from my dad's shop, I started passing through his place. I stayed there for like 1 2 3 hours, 4 hours, and I go home. I'll tell my mom we were busy today, because I know my mom is not going to ask my dad, were you busy today. So we were busy today. This guy came to brought the stock late. I was the one supposed to take the stock, blah blah blah. Those things lying to my mom. Then I started passing through his place. I'm telling you, devil is a liar, or devil sometimes can win. Within 2 3 months, the biggest fear of my mom happens. The biggest fear of my mom happens. Then now I'm like, I went and told him, and he's like, because he was a friend to my dad, and to some point my dad knew there's something going on between me and him, so he decided to tell me we stay together. And I'm like, now, if we stay together, my dad is not going to take me to college because I need to go to college. I need to focus on my career. If I don't go to college, I don't wanna, I don't wanna be like those women who just, got married because of some situation or some issues. I don't wanna be like, I don't wanna blame myself later. So I don't think we can stay together. So I started just going home, and him is still insisting, I need to tell your dad, I need to tell your dad. And me, I'm like, now if you tell my dad just now, they're gonna be a very, very big issue. You're gonna have so many questions to answer, sorry. So he insisted. And then before he insisted, now it's a little bit, now it's around 3-4 months, I started getting sick, those morning sickness, those blah 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 things. So my mom started questioning me, and I'm like, no ma, I have periods, monthly periods, I have my monthly periods, I'm lying to my mom. So finally, one day, it was around Christmas, I'll never forget, I went to his house and I never went back home again. Things we girls do. Now, the biggest fear to my mom, it's now happening. Now, this guy decided to go and tell my dad because they are friends. And my dad was not exactly mad, but the biggest thing with my dad was like, you are supposed to be my friend. I took you as my friend. And you end up doing this to my child? You know what? From today, I'm not buying anything from you. It's business, and it's business. Finished. Then my mom went home, and he told my mom. But I don't understand why fathers, when things like those happens to daughters, they go home and start blaming the mother. My mom did not send me there. You understand? My mom the biggest fear was that. Even that time I was coming home late. My mom was like, I hope you're not doing this. And whatever my mom is saying, I hope you're not doing this, is exactly what I'm doing. The only thing she didn't mention was use protection, in case this happens. Yeah, we have learned that from school. But, kids at that age, teenagers, we don't think that much. I didn't think, but I did that, whatever, pull my foot. Never try that. So yeah, my mom told my dad, my dad told my mom, and my mom was like, oh my God, my mom was very, very disappointed. She even cried. And I come from a polygamist family. My dad had 4 wives, and my mom was the first wife. Now for me to be pregnant at that particular time, my age, my dad brought me to the shop to try and do something. Now started bringing a very big conflict between my mom, the rest of the wives, and my dad. My mom was in between people. Well, like saying things to her, my dad telling her, I knew you were a poor mom. I knew you don't do this to your daughters. I knew this. Now everything became to my mom. Instead of people thinking about me, I'm the one who had done this mistake. Everything went to my mom. And this is one reason I love my mom to death. She went through a lot. Now from that moment, pregnant, moved with a boyfriend, this boyfriend contract with my dad is done because of that. Now I've brought conflict between my mom and my dad in the family. My step moms and my mom, they're not friends anymore because everybody is saying, your daughter has a very bad manners. She's going to spoil our daughters. We don't even want to see her around our daughters. It became that, those kind of village conflict things of women, It started like that. So yeah, now me and this guy, we have to start living together. Now I'm not working anymore, I'm staying home. But this guy is still doing his work. This particular man is still doing his job of, distributing the castle lager to Machakos County. I'm still okay. Financially, we were okay. But mentally, I was completely finished. But I had no choice. You understand that's things we say? Things parents, we push our kids into. If my mom or my dad called me and told me, you have done this, you've done a mistake, but I want you to still continue working in the shop, because you have to prepare to go to college. You give back, that. At the end of the day, there's nothing I can do. It's already in. If not that, it's abortion, which is parents. It's hard for a parent to tell a child to go for a termination. You understand? So can you imagine I had to stay with such stigma of everybody not wanting to see me, everybody not want to talk to me. My sisters, my stepsisters, my stepbrothers, everybody is seeing me like a sinner. They're seeing me like a devil, like I'm carrying that thing and I'm going to inject them pregnancy. Nobody wanted to see me. So anyway, this guy was there for me. So we stayed together for like around 1 year. And then now Castle Lager business was kaput, or done. So they sold the company to KBL. Now this guy has no job now. And I'm still pregnant. Actually, I was around 8 years. 8 months pregnant. By that time now the job was finished. So now it happens that this guy, his parents used to live in Nairobi. So now he had to pack his things and move back to his parent, because this business was his dad's business. So he employed the son. You see, now the business is finished. Now he has now to move from the village to come to the city of Nairobi. And you know what? I'm 8 months pregnant. Then he tells me, since you're not married and I don't have a house in Nairobi, I'm going to my parents' house. I'm very sure they're not going to allow you to stay there with us. So please just go back home, okay? I'll be supporting you financially. I'll be doing 1, 2, 3, 4 things to you. And I'm like, are you forgetting where you're sending me? To my parents? And you know what happened? Then I'm like, no, it can't happen that way. You see, stupid things kids we do, learn from this. Stupid things we do, we as kids, thinking that we have grown, and we are zero grown. Huh? Now I'm stranded. Now stress started kicking now. What am I going to do? Nitafanyaje sasa? Nikamwambia siwezi. I cannot go back to my parents. You know exactly my dad. You know the way my dad feels about it right now. There's no way you can send me back to my parents. And he tells me, okay, fine. Since you have insisted, let's go together. Then we comes to Nairobi. We arrives today, a day like today, at around 6 p.m. in the evening. Then he tells me to come and say hi to his parents. I come and say hi to their parents. He used to live in the servant quarter. Then we proceed to his room at the servant quarter. So we are staying there like around 2 hours. We are talking, trying to think of what we are going to do. Things has happened. What are we going to do then? All of a sudden, the mom comes and, so-and-so, your dad is calling you. Now he has been called for a meeting. They didn't even wait for one night to finish. The same night, he was called for a meeting. And they told him, you know what is she doing here? Blah, blah, blah. He explained. They said, no. You guys are not married. And you cannot marry this woman from this particular family. Because my mom, my dad, they were rich. I came from a rich family. So they said, no, you can't marry a woman from this family. This woman will never understand you. With money, without money. She comes from a rich family. Every time you have an issue, she would never even want to stay there. She will go back to the parents. And the guy is like, no, you're talking of somebody you don't know. Even the parents, they're like this because of her pregnancy. They don't want to see her, blah, blah, blah. And like, even us, we don't want to see her. If their own parents, they don't want to stay with her. We don't know how we're going to stay with her. Oh my God, now he comes and tells me, you can see the face. I saw his face and I knew, boom, there's a story here. Then now he tells me, my parents said, as I told you, they can't stay with you because we are not married. You have to go back to your parents tomorrow. And I'm like, oh my God, I have no choice. So we stayed for like 2-3 days when we were still, visualizing on things and what are we going, if we can look for a house and stay together. But we never used to save money. Money comes, money goes. Starehe, raha, blah blah blah, still young. So the parent says this guy is too young to get married and is going to university, and even me, I should go back to my parents and finish my university, my college, whatever. So then I stayed for like 2-3 days. Then he gave me money. He gave me, a push to the bus stop. I took the bus and back to my village, back to my mama. I'm telling you, that time I was around now 9. I was almost due. I reached home and my mom was like, it's better you have come. I've been so worried about you. I told my mom what has happened. My mom told me, I can't put you back to my stomach. Nishakuza. You have done a mistake. And I thought, biggest mistake. Tangu baby hiyo mimba, babako ajikanyaga kwa hii boma. Na hiyo kitu inaniuma sana. Mabibi wengine wote, they see me like a bad woman. They associate me with you. And wananionanga nikuwa mwanamke mbaya, mwenye afunzi watoto wake tabia na wataki kama watoto wao. Nikamwambia mom, I've done a mistake and I'm sorry. But now from this time round, I'll be careful. And I'll make sure I work so hard, mom. I will support you and I will stand for you. Just pray for me, for everything to go well. My mom said, okay, my daughter, karibu nyumbani. Now from that moment, started staying home. Then one of the wives akajua niko nyumbani. You know what she did? She went and told my dad. So my dad used to drive a Mercedes Benz. My dad used to have 3 Mercedes. So mimi niko home, tunasikia kwa gate, boo, boo. My dad coming na asira, boo, boo. You can tell the way anapiga hiyo, anahoot. There's a problem. So mimi nilikuwa kwa nyumba. So nikachungulia kwa diri, niko na damn, that's my dad. Hapa kuna shida. Nakwambia nilikimbia chini ya kitanda. Na niko na mimba inatoshana hivi, but nitoshea. Kimbia chini ya kitanda. Kasikia my dad ndio amekuja, ameita my mom, ameshout. Nikajua, nikamwambia Mungu, saidia mamangu jamani. Asiniumize mamangu. Kuta ameshout kwa wapi? Wewe usilete malaya kwa nyumba yangu. Nisitaki kuona. Huyo ni kasi, na sitaki kasi kwa boma yangu. Niko na watoto wengine wengi sana na wezi niwekea kasi kwa boma. Wapi namsikiza niko kwa kitanda, chini ya kitanda, anasomea my mom. Akakuja akafungua milango na nitafuta. Wapi? Nafungua we used to have a house with 6 bedrooms. Kila bedroom anafungua. Angalia, akaona siko. Kasikia menda amesomea my mom, amemwambia I cannot go to the details, but aliambia mom vitu mpaka nilikuwa kwa kitanda karibu naanze nishikwe na labor. Nikaanza kusikia tumbo na nyuma, nikajua huyu labor imefika. Alafu nikasikia ameenda kaingia kwa gari yake tena. Akaishia. Na mama kaniita, naogopa kuitika. Bado nafikiria kubaya. Na mama kaniita, nikakaa nimejificha for like 3 hours bado chini ya kitanda. Na niko na mimba. Nimelia, nimeomba, nimefanya kila kitu. So akafanyaje? My mom kaitana lately, nikajua, nikasikia akisema ameshaenda kuja. Ndio nikatoka. Sasa kutoka, mwambie akaniambia usijali mtoto wangu. Nitasimama na wewe kwa hii because Mungu ndiye ajuaye. Kumwambia kimami pole sana mama, but nitakupromise sitarudia tena na nitakusaidia maishani mwako wote mama. Tukaendelea kukaa, ikafika the time of giving birth. Time ya kuzaa, this guy was still, we used to have a landline back in the village. This guy used to call. Anapiga simu, tunaongea kwa simu, bado kwa ananiambia vitu kwa pamoja, atanisaidia kulea mtoto. Sengine alikuwa anakuja kutembea, ile kutembea, ile mtu akikutembelea lakini kidogo kidogo atakuachilia tu mahali. Hiyo kutembea kukwambia bye bye pole pole, that one. So ile time alikuwa anatuma pesa, hiyo pesa natuma mimi na save because najua siku moja nilikuwa nimeenda nanunua mitumba. Nilikuwa nanunua kabag, nanunua mitumba, naenda naosha. Nilikuwa tu nimejipanga. Naosha, na pack kwa bag yangu vizuri, na pack vizuri, you know, waiting for that fine day. So the best thing with me, hiyo time ya kuzaa ikifika, nilikuwa na nguo za mtoto nilikuwa nazo. The only thing sikuwa nayo enough ni pesa, because you see, hiyo pesa alikuwa anatuma ndio nilikuwa na save, ndio mamangu alikuwa anapea madhiko. So hadi aliacha kusupport mamangu sababu hiyo shida, akaacha kumsupport completely kabisa. Tulikuwa tunakaa saa zingine niko na mimba, lakini God man, respect people, because you don't know what people have gone through in this life to be where they are. Don't just look at people and judge them. Look at people. If you cannot say anything nice, just say bless them, because you don't know what they've gone through to be where they are at that moment. So time ya kuzaa ikafika, nikaanza labor, nikapelekwa, hata sikupelekwa hosi, nilipelekwa kwa wale midwives. Madhi hakuwa na pesa kunipeleka hospitali. Na kuna huyu midwife alikuwa anakujanga ushago, kunishika wala kushika tumbo hivi kama wale walimu wa huko high school wa kudanganyana hao. Sasa imagine time ya kuzaa huyu midwife akasema amezalisha watu wengi sana, kadanganya madhi anaweza nizalisha. Tukaenda kwake. Nililia mpaka luckily sometimes baba mtoto akaapia from nowhere. Vile aliapia kwa sababu amesikia bistango alipiga simu akamweleza na akamwambia ni kubaya, niko kwa midwife, hatuna pesa. So I don't know what this guy did, you know, from Nairobi to my village is only 2 hours. So tuko hapo tunang'ana, nishaanza kumwambia madha nipeleke hospitali, kama hatuna pesa nipeleke tu hospitali, nikakufia hospitali, siwezi kufia kwa mama. Nilikuwa naambia madha hivyo because I knew I'm dying. Nimefika mahali mpaka siongei, uchungu ishaanza kuisha, nimelala tu. Sasa vile huyu jamaa alikuja, then my younger sister akakuja akanipata vile nakaa, huyu jamaa akasema hapana, tutafute gari tumpeleke hospitali. Tafuta gari hapo haraka because nilikuwa on my last minutes. Nilikuwa hapa kwa kona, naenda siongei, ukinishika hivi nikikaa hivi nimekaa, hata uchungu sisikii, niko tu hivi. So haraka tukafika hospitali, tulienda General Hospital ya huko Ushago. So tukafika hospitali, kitu poa, tukapata mwanamke anajuana na my dad. Hakujua this story, but tukapata mtu bado tunajuana na my dad. Haraka akatuattend faster. Nikaekwa drip, uchungu ikarudi, nikaanza sasa. Hata sikukaa hospitali for like 1 hour. Sikukaa for 1 hour. Because nilikuwa hiyo drip, uchungu ikaanza kuja kwanza na speed nyingine. Huyu mama kwa hapo, huyu daktari akakasirika akamwambia toka hapa. Karibu huo mtoto wa watu, alafu nakuja hapa kusema ati sitaki kukuona, msipatie pesa yote. Daktari alikasirika. Akamwambia unawezaje kama mtoto wa mtu? Unajua huwezi zalisha. Unaona kutoka asubuhi ameshinda kwako. Sasa ni saa 12. Au kuna mtoto anaweza kufa wewe? Wewe ni namna gani wewe? Una huruma ya mtoto hujazaa ukajisikia? Yaani daktari alikuwa amekasirika. Akamfukuza akamwambia atoke hapa, akasema apewe pesa yake. Daktari akasema msimpe pesa yote, lakini nikamwambia Martin, enda tu mpatie ile kitu kwa mmeagriana, at least ndio nikuwe na niambia Martin mpe tu pesa, kanaambia mpe tu pesa yake mama. Martin akaenda kumpatia pesa, huyo mama akaishia. Sasa hapo tukatoa na daktari. Within around 1 hour and some few minutes, my baby girl came out. My beautiful, wonderful angel. Beautiful, wonderful angel. Blessing came out. Nikasikia sauti nikasema Yesu, asante. Kanifanya the normal things, nini. Kila kitu tukafanya vizuri. You know, nguo zangu nishapack. Hata daktari alishangaa sana, alisema hiyo na hivyo. Na my mom never knew. Everybody was astonished. Kila mtu alishangaa. Hawakujua. Lakini vile nilisikia nituma tu sisi, nikamwambia pale kwa bag yangu kuna kabag nimekanga pale, kama kuna nimenunua shawls nini hivyo leta. Kaletu. Tangu akafunikwa vizuri, kaenda nyumbani. Sasa kaenda nyumbani, tuka the story short, kalea mtoto. Baba yake akavanish, akapotea kabisa from that moment. Sasa kwa mimi na mom ndio tumeback home. So Father ameja kusupport mama yangu, tuko ushago. But at least tulikuwa na mashamba za kulima. And no matter what happened, I forever respect my dad. Daddy, keep resting. You brought up a woman. That's, I can tell you. So luckily mamangu alikuwa ameolewa na mdosi tajiri, kwa mjengea nyumba kubwa, alikuwa na mashamba kubwa. Mimi nikaanza kulima kwa mashamba. Kwa nalima mbosho, mahindi, hizi mbosho kwa kulanga huko Nairobi. Mimi ndio huko nazipanda huko ushago na naziuza. Zinatumwa zinakuja Nairobi. Nikaanza ku make my money. Hivyo nalea mtoto wangu niko ushago. Nikalea mtoto. Kaona madharau imezidi sana. Natukano na kila mtu. My brothers hataki kuniona. Nilizalia kwetu. My step sisters, my step brothers, my step moms, my dad, the only person stood by myself. Stood by myself. He's my heavenly Father, God, and my mom, and myself. 3. God, my mother, and myself. The rest, I was a devil. The biggest, I don't know niite jina gani ya shetani ule mkubwa. I don't know ule akona zile sijui niseme mgani huyo. So yeah, nikakaa until around 8 months hapo 9 months mashida zikaanza kuingia sasa. Mambo tu